Well, I'll tell you what
for the
else we're not
director.
going to run out of questions. We are not going to get to all of them, but some people really sent questions in early, and this was a very delightful one. So we thought we'd give you a little break with this first one. Can spies be any age, or do you have to be young and spry to spy? Sent from a lady who says that Melissa McCarthy in Spy is one of her favorites.
Well, as a guy in his 50s, I think 50s are the new 30s. And certainly I like to think I'm younger and younger all the time, even if my family tells me quite the opposite. Certainly, when we are going after spies, we see spies of all ages. In fact, recently we had, I think in the span of a single week, a couple of different cases where different intelligence services were using guys in their 70s. And my reaction was, yeah, go, and then I'm like, oh, okay, no, that's probably not a good thing. But it just goes to show that, people in their 70s can be pretty formidable, and I'm looking forward to it.
Chris, do you have any comment on that?
No. I wish I was in my 50s. Is what I wanted to say.
I'm not suggesting that Chris is in his 70s. Now, this one came in virtually. We've had a number about this topic, and you kind of touched on artificial intelligence earlier, but do you want to elaborate on how it is affecting the FBI and its intelligence gathering?
Sure. So, that's a huge topic, obviously. Maybe the best way to do it concisely is we sort of think of AI in three buckets, both offense and defense. Offense, we're obviously doing all kinds of things. I mentioned the guy who'd gotten the patent just recently. Right. But we're doing all kinds of things to try to figure out how we can responsibly use AI to go after the bad guys. That's obviously a very important part of our future. But in many ways, what I'm more focused on right now are the other two ways, the sort of the defense side of it, the ways in which AI is either enhancing or enabling bad guys to be more effective in the threats they pose, or third category of the three, the ways in which our foreign adversaries, especially the Chinese, are trying to steal our AI. America leads the world in AI development. I think something like 18 of the 20 most successful AI companies in the world are American. Needless to say, that puts a gigantic bullseye on them from the Chinese government. If I jump back to that middle category, ways in which AI is enabling bad guys to do their things, it's essentially, we look at it a little bit like the way in which, when the internet first came around, the way that just exploded all kinds of malicious activity. We're seeing it in terms of AI making phishing emails more effective. We're seeing it, AI, in terms of virtual kidnappings. I don't know how many people here are familiar with virtual kidnappings, but that's when somebody calls you, and they typically target the elderly, but they say, hey, we've kidnapped your son or your daughter, and if you don't wire money to this account without hanging up, we're gonna, kill him. Well, that's scary enough, but AI is now enabling some bad guys to spoof your son or daughter's voice. And so then you hear the call, and in the background you hear what sounds like your son or daughter's voice, and you're even more likely to think this must be the real deal. So those are just a few examples. AI, we're also seeing AI being used as a way for bad guys to conduct searches online that you can't track and follow. There's a whole slew of things. At the moment, what AI is really doing is enabling less sophisticated bad guys to be more successful and effective than they otherwise would have. Think of it like, you're all familiar with, you get the phishing email that's, you can tell was written by somebody for whom English is not a first language, and you kind of know, I shouldn't fall for this. Well, AI is already quickly enabling a lot of those people to sound a lot more credible and a lot more like fluent, natural English speakers. So it's going to get harder. What I'm really worried about is a few years from now, we're going to see the most sophisticated actors be able to up their game using AI. AI is not quite yet at the point where the most sophisticated adversaries, like they're not using ChatGPT to do their stuff. Like they're already up here, but you give it a few more years and there's going to be things that'll enable them to take it to a whole nother level. I mentioned the Chinese and the theft of AI. They have a bigger hacking program than that of every major nation combined. They have a massive malign foreign influence campaign, and they've stolen more of Americans' personally identifiable information than every nation combined. If you put all that together with AI, it's going to enable their hacking and their foreign influence campaigns and so forth to become exponentially more effective, because it allows them to essentially train the machine learning models to be more effective. So you could have a snowballing effect of what's already a very significant threat. So yes, we're very excited about how we can use AI in offense, but at the moment, we're primarily focused on how we can help protect people from the ways in which AI is going to be misused and already is being misused.
Oh, great points. I mean, it's double-edged, right?
Yep.
That's the issue.
I mean, every new technology, I have the same reaction, and AI is no exception. My first reaction is, wow, we can do that? And then my second reaction is, oh no, you mean they can do that? And of course, we try very hard and work very hard and are very proud of the fact that we're constrained by the rule of law in our use of these technologies. The bad guys, they throw that stuff out the window, so they're able to go after use these technologies with what they might view as a competitive advantage.
Yeah, no boundaries for them.
Yeah.